just need something here. Hey coaches, it's James of Volleyball Canada. I'm the sport development manager, and we have all been there, right? You're running around with your head cut off, you've got kids maybe, you've got a job, you've got a lot of responsibilities, and you've got practice coming up. And you got 30 seconds during your lunch break to plan practice. So it's tough, we get it. So what we did here is we provided a bit of a tool, a resource for you to make things a little easier, a little simpler. And it's called a practice plan builder and drill bank. So what we provided is just some guidelines initially here on the left. And so we feel like if you're doing all of these things in every practice, you're doing pretty well. So the first thing is a pre-practice mobility routine. And if you can do that before practice and save some time on developing skills and systems, awesome. Then we've got either an instant activity, and that's just like, say 2-on-2 short court, get them using the ball, get them having the ball come over the net, applying some of those motor learning principles. That'd be great. And then as they're older, maybe they're going to do some dynamic warm up and some core work. Next is speed work. You always want to do a speed after warm up at the beginning of practice, and you can train speed year round. Next is our core part of the practice, and I'll touch on that in a little bit, but after practice or at the end of practice is when you want to do some strength work, maybe 15 minutes, 5 minutes. And we put in kind of that intro video. I don't know if you noticed, make them feel the burn at the beginning of practice. A lot of coaches like to do, maybe run some lines or do some push-ups, get them tired. But that's something we absolutely don't recommend. The purpose of our practice is to develop skills, help them improve their skills so that they can apply them into the game. And they need to be fresh. They need to be able to learn. They need to be physically and mentally ready to learn. So that's why we put it at the end of practice. And then as they get older, we're going to take that out of practice and put it into the weight room. And then finally, all of coaches forget, we deprioritize the cool down and the stretch. We've got to remember to do that at the end. And then using a roller is a really good idea as well. So now touching on the core part here of now what we've done is use these three terms and kind of lumped everything that you can do into practice into three categories. And color-coded them into green, yellow, and red. So the first one, the objective would be to improve technical execution of skills. Second, improve individual tactics. And then finally, improve team tactics. And what we've done is kind of layered on our coaching methodology into these three terms. And so if you've taken an NCCP workshop recently, you'll know what a method 1 drill is, and it's essentially about improving technical skills. And method 2, individual tactics, and method 3, or simulated play, is sort of mostly around team tactics. So this isn't cut and dry and basic and quite as clear as this. There's always some gray in between these things, but we felt like it's a good way to categorize things and make things clear and simple. Now, the next question is, how much time do we spend on each of these things? Well, that answer comes from understanding a little bit about a yearly training plan. And so this is a very basic version of a yearly training plan of 52 weeks of a 16-year-old athlete who's maybe played for 2-3 years. Now, usually you want to have these three phases and understand what they are, and that they are general prep phase, specific prep phase, and then a competition phase. And generally speaking, in the general prep phase, we're going to spend a good chunk of time doing technical work early in this phase. But by the end of the season, where we're prioritizing our major competition of nationals, we've got around 15% of our time, so very little, and most of our time is being spent in team tactics. And you can see here how individual tactics remains relatively consistent throughout the year. So this is kind of a good maybe framework to look at, or an example to look at what might be appropriate for your athletes. And so we provide some additional guidelines here, some kind of ranges or percentage of time, depending on what phase of season that they're in. Now, part of the other tool that we provided here in planning your time is this little piece here. If you put in your say 40%, you're in say specific prep, the Excel spreadsheet will magically produce a number of minutes that you actually have, 36 minutes for 40%. And this number is based on this one, 90. So 40% of 90 minutes is 36 minutes. Now, this number can be inputted in by you as well, and it's based on how much time you actually have. So if you have 2 hours of practice, we minused out all those pieces, warm up, speed work, strength, stretching, for the actual time that you have in running your drills. So hopefully we can maybe increase this number a little bit and make things as efficient as possible. So the other thing that we did here is we linked this number into the detailed practice plan, so that when you're planning your detailed practice, you can see the top left here, just top of mind. Okay, I have around this many minutes for technical, for individual tactics, and for team tactics. The other thing this template provides you with is all those things that are necessary within the practice that can help you be successful. So we've got the warm up, you can name the drill, you've got the duration, the full template here, and then we've got speed work. You can add in here, and then this little piece here allows you to change the focus of your drill. Again, just to keep it color coded, keep it clear and simple. Okay, I'm kind of running this focus of the drill here. And then you're going to fill in the rest as you go down. And there's around 7 or 8 of these. You may use all of them, you may not. And then at the end of practice, you've got some strength work and you've got some cool down. Now, a lot of coaches, especially if you're new coaches, look at this and think, wow, this is a ton of detail. This is a ton of work. So what we wanted to do is provide you some clear examples of these red tabs, which are a drill bank. So if you're looking for a warm-up drill, here they are. You can go grab a couple, try them out, just copy them, and then paste them directly into your practice plan. Now we've chunked these drill banks as well into these categories of serve and receive, set and attack, and block and defense. We've also added this age range here, so give you an idea of what might be appropriate for, say, 14-year-olds, what might be appropriate for 18-year-olds. And then we've also, again, categorized things through this color coding of technical, individual tactics, and team tactics. Now, another piece that might be helpful for you too is that when you're filling in these boxes and you're looking, say, for teaching points, as we provided this tab here, or a list of maybe suggested teaching points that you could use when you're teaching the skills. But we also recommend that over time you create your own, because not every teaching point is going to work for every athlete. And we also recommend that you consider using external focus of attention teaching points. And if you don't know what that is, we teach it in our workshops, but also I'm sure you can probably find it online. So over time, as you copy paste a lot of the drills that exist here in the drill bank and get a chance to review this box, for example, of what worked well, what I would do differently next time, hopefully you're going to start to plan more of your own drills and start using this box as your primary first step in planning all of your practices. So that's your specific objective. And then over time, you're going to use the drill bank here less and less. And as you get even more experienced, you can start to use this tab, this plan of practice summary. So this is for more experienced coaches who have memorized all their drills here. They can just write in their drill. They know what the drill's description is. They don't have to write it in. The players have probably already memorized the drill too. You just kind of say the name of the drill. They just jump right into it. And then you write down your objective, your teaching points, your success criteria, and then you've got just everything here on one page. Now, the other new thing about these templates that we've added here is called the person pillar. And this comes from our new volleyball development matrix. And that you can access that through our website to kind of go through all the details there. But just to summarize, what it is we're taking a person-centered approach, and we're focusing on training the whole athlete. And that means more than just skills and systems, but mental skills, life skills, everything that an athlete may need on the court, but also outside of the court. And so the 4 C's here, that represents kind of a consolidated essential components of the person. So that's common needs, connection, care, and courage. And so I'll give you an example of what that might look like to apply in a practice plan or even a drill plan. So let's say, for example, you're going to you're trying to teach a new serving skill or a new serving type of skill, and you're going to need them to have a bit of courage. So courage to take risks and fail, and try serving a different new way. So that's just there to remind the coach to say, we're going to create an environment here where it's safe to make mistakes, allow us to explore new things, and hopefully that's going to create an environment where we can grow and develop even faster. So that's one part that's kind of wraps up this whole all the key pieces of these templates for our detailed drill plan. And then finally, on the last tab here is an overview of all of our terms and coaching methodology. So as I mentioned earlier, we've got these three up top, and these three terms have been around for decades and are typically used for all the yearly training plan materials that we have. But they don't fit like perfectly into our new coaching methodology when you look at these terms. So there is a bit of an overlap, and I wanted to clarify a couple things. One is this technical word. When we think of technical execution, sometimes we don't think about cue reading and decision making. However, that's just not the case. So in every drill and every activity that an athlete executes a skill, they read a cue, they make a decision, and then they technically execute that skill. And so we've kind of created this coaching methodology where the amount of cues and the amount of decisions that exist in a method 1 drill is a lot smaller and a lot less than, say, a method 2 drill and a method 3 drill or simulated play drill. Because when you're learning a brand new skill, you don't want to get overwhelm the athletes with so many things and so many decisions. So hopefully this technical term can be helpful to bridge the gap between our old terminology that exists in all of our yearly training plans and our new coaching methodology, which is more based on where the athlete is at. And so if they're in the acquisition stage, they do method 1 drills, early consolidation, they do a lot of method 2 drills, late consolidation, method 3 drills. And then finally, simulated play is for all stages of development, including refinement. And so just to remind coaches here too, that I hope this piece here isn't too misleading. This is actually a great way to progressively introduce different types of drills throughout your practice, but it doesn't have to look like this. So for example, if you're working with 14U, you might have 10-minute method 1 drill, then you're going to have a 10-minute simulated play drill, and then another method 2 drill, and then a simulated play drill. So you might have 7 drills that exist in here, and you're just kind of alternating between kind of that method 1 or 2 drill if you're kind of in that early acquisition stage, and your simulated play drill that's really beneficial for all stages of development. So there's a lot going on here in this final review of all of our terms and kind of how we apply things. So it's a lot more complex than I'm describing right now. But I think hopefully this gives you a taste of what is helpful to run in every practice, and simplifies things hopefully as well in a kind of color-coded manner, and gives you an idea of how to progressively move throughout your practice with some examples in your drill bank as well. So that's it. Thanks for listening. Thanks for taking the time, and have a great day.